Okay, so let's play this game. Oh lord. Oh my god, I can't keep... What is happening? I do not have enough... I did not inherit enough ADHD for this. Oh. Okay, so it's running at like 300 frames per second. I just assume it's one of those games that runs at the speed of the frame rate on some level. So let me just turn on that NVIDIA FPS limiter and let's go. Okay, so this is Super Weekend mode. It's like pretty cute, isn't it? If you're wondering what's happening, we're a princess controlling these little paddles or ships or whatever at the bottom. I'm sure that makes it make more sense for you. Why are we doing this? I don't know, this little purple bastard stole our stuff. How dare he? Because we ain't no damsel, bitch, you're giving that shit back. Anyway, you gotta shoot these beams at these really intimidating evil gals, among other things above. Your other two buttons are dedicated to shifting the position of each paddle. Both just have two positions they can be in. Then like stuff falls down. The hearts you gotta catch, obviously. The skulls you gotta avoid, and the dust bunnies you slam with your hips from the side. Boom. Take that, you adorable creature. It's structured like an arcade game with 9 of these bosses to go through, but they're just stages. Now, a lot of these types of games never really gain specific genre names. I would personally classify this as a side view catch and dodge arcade action game. Specifically a lane shoot catch and dodge game. Because, well, we can shoot, and you can only switch per lane rather than gradually. Kaboom and Atari 2600 is probably the most famous example. These games fall under a category of avoid and move over games, which falls under a category, of movement-based games. This game also uses the arcade one-sitting progression with a high score attached to it. The presentation here is like super cute, albeit nonsensical. I have legit no clue what's going on. They're primarily attacking us with like love. And yet they also throw some skulls in there, mixed signals much. Girl, do you want to date me or not? And then we just blow them up? Are they really that protective of whatever this purple guy stole from me? And like, how do they have so many like pet bunnies? Why are there stars bouncing out of my ship when I catch your hearts? Are we having a fight or a good time? So anyway, the aesthetic is cute. She dances happily at the bottom left corner to the main theme on the title screen. It's pretty simple, yellow, big blocky letters with a dark drop shadow, split into 3, like a staircase shape, with the small sprites of the main character and the villain on top of the top one. The background's gray with some skulls and hearts and bunnies from the game faded out. The border has 2 lines slightly offset from the corner, and the corner is a circle sticking out with a circle in... I don't know how to explain it. The main menu sits at the bottom right. It's a simple but effective little title screen with what little it has through the use of composition and color contrast, and it does show you a lot of the game's vibe at one glance. Our titular character is a spiky-azure blue bob-cutted girl with hair in a red half ball-shaped dress with ribbons at the bottom and a frill on the neck, complete with a bulgy shoulder part, a bow on her hair and dress, and what I think are really frilly evening clothes. Our villain, on the other hand, is just gesture-looking dude with a red unicycle wearing a twirly pattern bag. Okay. He does have like a yellow heart on his chest. Like, is he evil? Do we know? So here in game we have a lot of saturated colors with some pastels sprinkled in, contrasted against this black and white gray background and border, which has like these little rock and flower shapes. It has an early arcade game, maybe MSX type look with flat, sometimes non-existent shading, and a chibi-esque anime art style, complete with cute frilly dresses, and the enemies look big enough to where they can look distinct and memorable. You get to see this cute little picture of your characters as you level up, and see the credit transition screen where you get the power-up. Did I say credit? I mean level transition, sorry. Plus there's this like cute little bird cheering us on. I have no clue who you are, bird, but go, bird! I'll win this for you! The cheery, cute music tied to the game really helps give it off like this relaxing, fun, yet somewhat energetic vibe at the same time. The tutorial on the title screen tells us very little about the actual details. What do these power-ups do? What do these hearts do? How does the point system work? Are you ready to unravel these mysteries with me? Because I don't think we will. So in terms of other things, there's not much here for us to do. Config has a very basic controller setting, which I appreciate, but it barely works for modern controllers, it seems. I just use DS for Windows. You can look at the credits too, they're really basic. It seems like the core idea of the game is, what if we could have the most basic form of multitasking applied to this genre? You'll need to directly control not one paddle but two. You only have two positions. You'll also need to shoot, but you can just hold the button and only really need to worry about whether your paddles are in the middle or not, as the bosses are just static. This means that having both your paddles on the inner side becomes the sort of neutral position you will usually want to return your paddles to as soon as possible. Both catching hearts and damaging the boss seems to make progress according to the tutorial, but doing both more so. I like the idea at least. It doesn't make you feel like you're losing progress when you're not shooting, it just takes less time when you are. The hearts that fall out of the sky tend to fall in multiples, so you can keep your paddle on that lane for a while and they fall at regular speeds. Given that, and the 4 lanes in this vertical view, it almost gives off a bit of a feel reminiscent of Tetris meets a 2-button rhythm game. In fact, if you lose, your playfield shrinks in a way reminiscent to how Tetris block lines are left behind. And like rhythm games, the fact that there is 5 types of hearts, bunnies, and skulls reminds me of the note types. And so does the way you have to quick read them, as you'll encounter certain types of patterns to read. You'll build muscle memory, reacting to words in a specific way. Given that 2 spots are always covered, the reads can be both ones of doing something and doing nothing. There are some big differences, however. This is not a rhythm game. The catching means you aren't performing actions often. The bunnies have that, because they have to be hit from the side, so they add more execution and reading based on your knowledge of the paddle speed, rather than an arrow strictly coming onto a spot. It adds a strange sense of horizontal to this vertical game as well, just by essentially having a single heart you are forced to catch at the last moment. It's not a I move or don't move, it's a I must move once or must move twice at a specific moment. And it also just has a very different look to it, so you read it differently. For other hearts, it's not really that based on strict timings of the object reaching the bottom, but you just being there on time. Another difference, only the falling patterns are to some degree in a way that is untold to us randomized. But depending on the stage and the boss phase, it'll have recurrent characteristics, so it's not as based on memorizing performance. Instead, it's more about general skills. Still, there's very little decision making involved. It's mostly a game based on reading, and then to some degree timing accordingly. As things fall down, you kind of have to pay attention to what you see coming next on top, and then chain the appropriate actions together. The alternating patterns on top essentially overlap a little, throwing you off. This will then take some time to get used to. This game will trick you. You ever have that feeling when playing an instrument, your hand does the exact opposite thing of the thing you wanted to do? You're like, I meant to press the left one. Why would I press the right one? Why did I move that paddle? As I should have just left it there. Am I stupid? It will try to throw you off with these patterns. By stage 2, it will already start switching up what patterns happens on the left and the right, because usually they kind of coincide. These are the parts where there's a bunny on the left side and a heart on the inner right side. So it's a sign it's still a catch and dodge game at heart, and it depends on where you left your paddle last, what you need to do. There's consequences to that. If the left paddle here is in the left position, and the right paddle on the right, you will need to press that thing twice to hit the bunny, and the right paddle once to get the heart. If the latter is already in the left spot, you wouldn't need to move it. If your former paddle is already in the right spot, you'd only need to hit it once. Well, it isn't really based on decision making. There are consequences of your past actions, so you'll always be needing to assess your reads to some degree. You're the one with control over this. It's just that the developer knows you'll want to reset it to the neutral, the middle, as often as possible, and you want the paddles to be in sync as often as possible. So it's just much easier to manage. Most patterns will say synchronous and then try to throw you off at points. The different patterns of these moving items really hones in on this. Blue hearts move one spot within one side, green hearts move one spot but can also swap between the paddle sides, throwing you off completely. The game's just playing mix-ups on you. Purple hearts. I'm not sure what purple hearts do. The yellow ones just like kind of weave in and out, like on both sides. If a skull is with the green ones, the skulls on the side will swap too, essentially just making you lose a life if you missed a heart. As I said before, missing a heart makes the screen smaller, allowing for less reaction time like Tetris until it squishes you. While getting hit by something makes you lose a heart and causes things to stop for a bit. A higher punishment to look out for, as the screen will grow back over time and can take way more hits. This essentially creates some pretty interesting tension. Like, you worry about losing too many resources, but you're also like, oh no, wait, I'm still alive because it's only the screen, and oh, please, slowly move back. Oh yeah, okay, it keeps shifting, like whether you're losing, how much you're losing, and that kind of keeps it interesting. Your paddle controls do not require you to wait until they're finished moving to move them back. Even though it doesn't immediately move back upon a second press, it kind of buffers, as if it were, it seems, like you can press ahead. This works well because the dust bunnies often require you to be ahead with 2 moves if you aren't already in the right spot. Like, if you read them late, you're often screwed. Your shots are pretty fast, but it seems like only one can be on screen at the same time. The problem here is that if a heart comes below the enemy, your shot will go against a heart and do nothing. This means that weaving in and out for single hearts only like sometimes gives you an advantage, and a small one at that. For something like much riskier, I'm not sure why this decision was made. It doesn't really seem to add anything, because the bosses are always in the middle, so there really isn't much to the shooting. You can turn auto fire on or off, but I don't really see the point. You can hold the fire button anyway, but like, what are you supposed to precisely time your shots for so the hearts won't block them? Like, is that why? It's like, I don't think this adds much to scorer speed, I'm sorry. Scoring-wise, not much detail is given. It's just your shots and hearts will give a certain amount of points, and as you keep catching them, chain multipliers are given. But drop a single heart and your chain's over. This means one mistake is a huge difference in score that lasts, but it also means that the scoring system isn't that interesting. Just do it perfectly and you get all the points. Not to mention, it being somewhat randomized means you will get more or less, depending on your run. Once you get good at a certain part, it's not like you can really do that much quicker or with more points through technique, aside from just weaving in and out of the thing, which makes a marginal difference in certain parts, precisely because the hearts are blocking you. There's just little skill expression here that, well, could have been there. Why else is the shooting there? Is it just to make it seem less abstract? Like, is it just a visual flair? Like, it makes the game go slightly faster. Is it just like the pacing? Like, oh, now I'm doing more damage. Like, just the feeling it gives off, or I don't know. After a while of shooting the enemy, they will go into a panic phase of sorts. Kind of like Touhou, where whatever's happening before resets and then the patterns get denser while the music gets more intense too. I like this as it gives each stage sort of a more chill start and a tenser end. And then you go to the cute little transition to calm down and you see what you did and what power-ups you get based on your performance and character. This means the better you do at earlier stages, the more you're going to be able to try out the later ones, and there's a bit of an anticipation of like, ooh, what will I get? Power-ups aren't that interesting or significant though, nor are the character outfits, to be honest. There's a chain up from her score and speed up, which just seems to speed up the paddle movement. I don't know, like, does it speed up the hearts? I can't tell. Does it... If so, like, how is that beneficial to me? Like, either of them? Like, do I get more points for it? Like, I don't know. Then there's a fire-up. Do I get more points for that? Or does it just mean I have to play less long because it does more damage? Do I fire more often? Like, what's going on? It doesn't matter that much otherwise. Like, do I need to... It's not like I need to aim or target prioritize. A barrier shield is there so I can get to receive an extra hit, which that's actually pretty useful. But that's the thing, I can't really find much about how this game works. What does the star even do? Okay, it's just more score, never mind. What do the 3 difficulties do? I noticed the boss has less health. So you just have to survive less long. And less patterns, but like, what else is going on? Is that it? Or why not tell me? I like how it lets me discover what the hearts and stuff do for myself, so you learn a bit more each try and you get a little surprise as stuff gets introduced, but a little bit of info on the power-ups and more info on the scoring could really go a long way. Okay, let me look this up. Okay, so I can only really find people trophy hunting for this game. That's the thing people do, like literally just buy a cheap game to hunt for achievements that aren't even difficult. Like, what? Anyway, back to the topic. Life up power-ups grant you more hits, so that's what you want every time you lose. Otherwise, you just want barriers, honestly. Maybe to speed us, if I don't know what they do. There's also how you can pick outfits at the start of the game, and they determine what power-ups you get or start with. One gives you more lives than others. One is all around. One gives you shot power, another speed, another starts with a barrier. You get the picture. This honestly doesn't add that much. It doesn't fundamentally change how I engage with the game. It's just a different advantage you can pick. Difficulty-wise, I'd say Stage 2 already kind of spikes, but in a good way, because you can get quite a few life ups already, and there's quite a bit of leniency. You can fuck up a lot, so you can really learn the pattern early on, like of the dust bunnies. Not every stage after is necessarily always harder, so the difficulty curve kind of wobbles, which I'm fine with. But with the limited possibilities here, they've created a nice different set of like falling pattern types, which has a nice sense of pacing to it. It's fun to weave in and out of things, even if it's just like one button. The multitasking aspect messes with your brain at first, but it is indeed like, yes, I finally did it. Once it gets into your system, you get better and better at it, but because you have to keep paying attention to the randomization alongside the presentation and snappy game feel, there is still a sort of satisfaction you get executing it perfectly. It's especially satisfying to like knock those evil bunnies like, fuck you. And the sweet sound of catching a row of hearts make you feel like you're accumulating power or something. Technically, a skull on the other side isn't that different, like outside of like a different effect on chains or missed punishment. But you do read it differently, like you see a thing, so you want to catch it, right? It's categorized as like, I have to touch the spot versus unsafe spot, and they can fool you with the mix-ups as they like switch sides. The bulk of the difficulty of the game honestly comes from the bunny timings at some point, really. And it's just satisfying. Just two buttons, but you tap them and you feel like a master commander or something, just like when you're really good at a rhythm game. Like, it does have that feel. At some point after you learn how to deal with every pattern type from every position, you just get into this like zen-like flow where your subconscious takes over, you just kind of run like a machine. How much you actually have to press is very variable. Sometimes you barely have to do something for a while, and other times you really gotta do a lot of quick presses in a row, building that tension. It's like, yes! The tension changes too, because your state in the life/punishment and power-up system keeps differing. Now let's do a little bit more detailed of a rundown of each stage. Stage 1, as expected, is the simplest. Just mostly long, sometimes short lines of red hearts and blue hearts that switch position from the outer to inner or inner to outer. Then some lines of yellow. This game has the stage 1 syndrome where on repeat playthroughs it's so easy that instead of dying because you made a mistake, you die because you get impatient. There's not so much to improve on over time or ways to speed it up by that much, so it's annoying. It has this princess gal squeezing her little fish in a nice grassland cityscape. Die, princess. Only I'm allowed to be the most fabulous princess here. The second enemy is a girl in a hoodie with a spaceship for legs. Okay. This is where they put the blue hearts on one side and the red on the other while also having less of them in a row. It introduces green hearts, which can switch positions to the other side altogether, but sometimes you do not need to move at all. And sometimes there's like these skulls next to them, and it also introduces the dust bunnies. And just two in the middle, which at first really takes time to get used to. Here, the panic form is especially mean. Dust bunnies on one side at the same time as a blue and a green lane, switching hearts, and skulls may switch to the side too. It's really satisfying once you get it down. And the cityscape in the background is now one at dawn. It looks super chill. Stage 3 ups the ante. It's this dragon bird looking thing in a mech. I like the colorful mountain. And we get these rows of skulls to weave in between, while there's dust bunnies at the 2 inner and then the 2 outer rows. It makes you feel like a champ weaving between them. Purple hearts are introduced as well. I have no clue what they do, but they seem to trip me up more. They kind of just suddenly move or don't move. There's also a lot of rows of hearts where you have to have one on the outer and one on the inner for a while as they switch lanes. Stage 4 is easy actually. It's just more punishing as it's mostly hearts with skulls in between. It has this mermaid and a colorful background sky. The dark night is really pretty. Her angry form adds a few dust bunnies, but not in a way that you haven't seen before. It's just you have to switch back to the other pattern quite quick. This stage throws you for a bone for stage 5, which is a bit more difficult, combining a lot of stuff from 2 and 3. And though it's really simple with rows of hearts a lot of the time. I don't even know what this guy is. Is he like a pudding? You have to get better at moving one paddle for the dust bunnies while catching hearts in the other, but still, this one's not that bad. It's the stage after that is a huge difficulty spike. They dare to put tons of dust bunnies in a row for one paddle, sometimes 2 bunnies in one lane, and you have to press ahead several times in a row. But then they have the guts to super quickly start throwing bunnies on the other side as well. And then you have to get to the second part and it adds a fake out skull squishing with green hearts thing as well. I kept dying to this over and over, but I persevered, and eventually I started getting the time down. It's just so much more intense than the hearts, it's so satisfying. Stage 7 lets me calm down a bit again. It emphasizes confusing reading as opposed to intense execution. It throws long rows of lane switching and green hearts with skulls next to them, one after another, so you all see them on the screen at once. It's just like it's green skulls, it's hearts. I can't even comprehend what's going on. My subconscious just notices. And when it starts to like look different and then I switch plays. It's so confusing, like, get these skulls away from me. And then you get this weird creature and like, it's so easy. Like, what happened? I guess they wanted to like give me some time to breathe. Oh no, the stage is not ending. A volcano? It's pretty basic, just a lot of lane switching skulls, but then a dragon? Oh no, it's raining. That super confusing part. Okay, yeah, I keep dying here, sorry. For now, that's about as far as I'm going to get. It's so short. I don't know if this is the final stage or the last one. I can't even find footage of the final boss. The only non-achievement based playthrough I could find with YouTube's awful search is an older version with a different ending. Still, all in all, it's a pretty fun, cute little game. I just feel like it could have been worked on a bit more to give it a bit more longevity, give it more depth. It works enough for what it is right now. One day I'll be that final level. Thanks for playing with me. Do you want to experience more games with me next time? Just one thing. Remember, there's no need not to try as long as you can DIY. Okay, see you.